Ooh. Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live, A Course in Miracles. The reason why it's called A Course in Miracles is because the Course in Miracles teaches that if we treat each other correctly, it's a miracle. So it's called A Course in Miracles. If we reach out to each other in a loving way, if we take responsibility, remember the truth about ourselves, love each other, connect with each other, it's a miracle. So that's why it's called A Course in Miracles. It's a course in another way to look at things. So thank you for tuning in. And also we're going to start out, we're going to continue to talk about what is the judgment that you can use that will always benefit you and bring help to you and bring help to you from the universe and from the divine. How do you do that? How do you really manifest that love and that peace that you want to manifest? And we learned in metaphysics and new thought that it's our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs, our consciousness, that's ultimately creating our reality through the law of attraction and through projection and extension. So if I change my mind, I change my reality. If I decide that it's all about changing you in order to be happy, that's a ridiculous amount of work. I ain't doing it. So we're going to do our theme song while we're coming in, mighty companions, and it's called, it's a workbook lesson from the Course in Miracles, and it's called, I Am Not a Victim of the World I See. So here we go. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no. Guess what? Of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my paw. I'm not a victim of my paw. I'm not a victim of events or circumstance at all. I'm not a victim. Say what? Of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me, including the good stuff. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Yeah, now remember this. Remember only this. You need not believe the ideas. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Woo. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas. I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. I'm not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim. Yeah. Of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. That includes the good stuff. Help me out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Now remember only this. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And others may seem to be quite startling. You are not asked to judge the ideas at all. You are not asked to analyze the ideas at all. the world I see.
I'm not a victim,
not a victim of the world I see.
'cause what's happening now
Is what I done to me. Oh, woo. I love that. That's Brother John Christmas. At johnchristmas.com, you can download those songs for free. They're songs that are based on the teachings of A Course in Miracles. And one of the workbook lessons in the Course in Miracles is I am not a victim of the world I see. The Course in Miracles consists of 3 books in one. There's the text, which is the whole theoretical foundation of the material, and then it tells you the overall thought system. And then there's the workbook. And the purpose of the workbook is actually giving practical application to the ideas in the course so you can see that they work in your everyday life. And that means that 2 parts happen in the undoing. The 2 parts that happen in the undoing is you undo the erroneous ways you see now, and then the second half of the workbook is how do you acquire the new perception that you're supposed to use. So how do I make this work in my day-to-day reality? So if you want to get that wonderful music, it's at johnchristmas.com. That's John Christmas sitting back there, by the way. He came in, I tell you. It's good to see you, brother. It's good to see you. I always get excited when I'm getting ready to do the course because I know for an hour anyway, I'm going to be talking like I got some sense. Even though none of the words are mine. That's why they make so much sense.
Thank God.
Yeah. Their use will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. What? Their use will give the idea, using it will give the ideas meaning. What does it take? What does it take to give the ideas meaning? Using the ideas. Using the ideas. That will give the ideas meaning. Course in Miracles says, read me slowly. So, if you use the ideas will have meaning to you because the ideas will show you that the ideas are true. Once a person understands that the Course in Miracles is primarily working with their perception, the way that they see things. As a matter of fact, we're going to be in the text, in the Foundation for Inner Peace version, the Blue Book. We're going to be on page 217. I got some longer copies up here. If you have the book, if you're watching and you have the book, please get the book. The reason why is because of my 42 years of teaching and studying this and the last 35 doing it full time. I might be able to save you a little time with the material. Just might, just saying. So a good teacher is a good motivator. So the goal of any good teacher is to make themselves unnecessary. And the one thing I've done in the lives of a lot of people I've been with is I become unnecessary. So I must be a really good teacher because I'm unnecessary for a lot of folks. I used to be very necessary too. So I just think I'm a great teacher. I don't have a problem with relationships. That's the deal. So the Course in Miracles is saying to us that there's a way of judging. There's a way of judging that will absolutely work to your advantage. And the way of judging that will work to your advantage is this. I don't know if you realize it or not, but the reason why you see things the way that you see things is because of what you learned in the past and the experiences that you've had in the past. So what you're looking at is always the result of your past learning. Perception is learning. The way you see things is really based on the way you learn to see things. So are you really seeing me, or are you seeing all of the descriptions that you have experienced of someone that looks like me? Are you seeing me? Are you seeing all of your past experiences with someone that looks like me? How do you even know what I am other than what you learned to think I am in the past? If we had grown up in a society that you would say that it's a horse up here talking to you, you would feel very comfortable saying there's a horse in front of the room right now, if that's what we've learned. Here's the other thing. So it's your interpretations and your learning that's giving the meaning to everything that you see and everything that you're going through right now. I try to make the Course in Miracles very practical. To me, if it's some abstract conversation that we can't apply to our everyday situation, it doesn't have a lot of value. So I want to know how I can apply this to this insane world that I'm in right now. So the first thing that I'm going to do a quick review. It says you're always interpreting and responding to the interpretations that you're giving to everything. And there aren't but two interpretations the Course says that are correct. That there's only two things happening in the world. There's only two things happening in your world. You're either seeing expressions of love or you're seeing a deep call for love. That's all you see going on in the world. It's a great big call for love or it's love. It's a great big call for help or it's love. That's all you're seeing. Anything you see in the world, the fear, the separation, the racism, the climate change, you name it, anything. You can name anything that you think is going on that anybody's doing at any level, and what it is a call for help. If it's not loving, it's a call for love. So why don't we see it that way? The Course says the reason why we don't see it that way is because we want to go off on them suckers. I don't want to see what you're doing as a call for love because I have an imagined need to attack you. I'm angry. I want to go off. I don't want to see it as a call for love. I want to see it as an attack. That's okay. You can see it in the way you want to see it. But what the Course is telling us is that regardless of how you feel about it, what you're seeing in front of you is a call for the help of the Creator, a call for the help of love, a call for the help of God. Now, what's the advantage of you seeing it that way? The Course says the advantage of you seeing it that way is that you will begin to realize that you're insanity, and when you're acting crazy, and you're not being loving, and you're being depressed or sad, that's what you are doing also, is you're calling for love. And the Course in Miracles says if you see it as a call for love, then that is you asking for help. Because the way that you see other people, that's what you're asking for. The Course teaches giving and receiving is the same. So whatever you give, that's what you're asking for. Whatever you give, that is what you are asking for. So asking for something is not you just saying, would you please give me this? Asking for something metaphysically, asking for something spiritually means you're giving it. So whatever you give, that is what you're asking for. If you're always giving a hard time to everybody, always attacking, always upset, blaming, what you are giving, that's what you are asking for. That's the law. Giving and receiving is the same. Giving and receiving is the same. Giving and receiving is the same. So when someone asks you for something, before you answer, remember that what you're saying to them is what's coming to you. What you're saying to them is what you are asking for. So I answer people more in terms of what I want than what they want. You know, you going off on me, maybe I have the temptation to not see that as a call for love and want to go right back off on you. But then I have to remember, what I'm giving is what I'm asking for. And if I want to be seen by spirit in the universe is calling for help when I'm acting crazy, I got to be willing to start to see what anybody else is doing as a call for love. It said, see it that way. The Course in Miracles does not say that you are the one that's necessarily being asked to do the help. As a matter of fact, it says that you shouldn't be trying to help people in your way. Actually, it says that person is calling for the help of the Creator, the universe, love, whatever your name is, but something greater than you, that which created you. That's the review. Okay? So if I don't want to see it that way, then it means I'm refusing help. The Course says that is me refusing help when I don't want to see what somebody else doing as a call for help. Are you with me? So he says, are you going to maintain that you don't need help? Because that's what's happening every time you don't want to see what somebody else is doing as a call for help. Okay, so let's suppose that that's true. Well, it says right here in chapter 12, section 1, paragraph 8, it says, by applying Spirit's interpretation of the reactions of others more and more consistently. What is Spirit's interpretation of others? That they're doing what? Either expressing love or a call for love. He says, when you do that, what's going to happen? He says, well, you're going to gain an increasing awareness that this criteria is equally applicable to you. Okay, if what you're doing is a call for love, even if you're being stingy, crazy, going off jealousy, you name it, any human emotion that we see is something that we don't like. The Course says that's a great big call for love. Some people are great big intergalactic call for love, right? We've known a few of those. We've been there. So the Course in Miracles says, for to recognize fear isn't enough to escape from it. So you want to escape from fear and anger and guilt. To recognize it is not enough to escape from it. But you do need to recognize it to demonstrate the need to escape from it. So it's okay to recognize what you need to escape from. But guess what? It's not enough to escape. Right? I got a headache, then I need to take the aspirin to escape the headache. But recognizing that that's the problem is not the same as I am doing the remedy. I'm not doing the remedy until I actually take the aspirins. So that's what the Course is telling us that we do all the time. We recognize the problem, but we won't take the next step to the resolution of the problem. And guess what? The Course in Miracles is teaching us that we need to escape from anger, fear, guilt, and separation, and lack, and judgment, and condemnation. That we need to escape from that. So the Holy Spirit, do you know when the Course says Holy Spirit, it's another name for that is your loving right mind, your sane mind. The part of you that still has sense. The part of you that's still connected to Source. The part of you that is truly loving. And yes, there is a part of you that's totally loving, Penelope. There's a part of you that is whole and beautiful and connected to Source and is a light. And it's a pleasure to be around. Because all you do is radiate joy and radiate peace. The Course calls that your sane man. Okay? So then it says to us, and the reason why I'm going through the book is because people say this book is hard to read and it's hard to understand. It's not. When the purpose frightens you, the Course says that's when it looks like you can't understand something. You're not ready to accept it. So to understand means to accept, the Course teaches. So when I say I understand you, it means I accept you. And if I don't understand you, you know what it tells me I should do if I don't understand you? It says, don't judge you. Don't judge what you don't understand. I'm an astrologer, and I use this example often. If I said to you and you knew nothing about astrology, I said, oh my God, your Uranus is square Pluto. If I leave you with your fear, the once you recognize your fear, do you know the truth is you would have taken a step away from your reality of love, not toward it. In other words, the name of the game is to move you further away from fear. And then I bring up all the things that you have fear about and then just leave you with them. I've actually made you more afraid than you would have been if I never talked to you in the first place. So to recognize your fears, that's not enough to escape from them. And there's a part of you that's going to change everything you fear to something that gives you peace and love. But if I leave you with your fear, then I've taken a step and you've taken a step away from reality, the Course says, which is love. So we have emphasized, what is it that's being emphasized? He says, well, what we're going to emphasize is your need to recognize fear and face it. Recognize your fear and face it. Face it how? Face your fear without disguise. I got to recognize my fear and recognize my fear and face my fear. Oh my goodness. But that's a crucial step. If you want to undo your ego, if you want to undo your sense of being separate and fearful, if you want to undo not recognizing the ultimate divine spiritual being that you are, if you want to get to the point where you undo that guilty mind, that angry mind, that insane part of the mind, which the Course calls the ego, you have to recognize your fears and then face them without them being disguised. Okay. Okay, without disguise? All right, now remember, Everything about the Course in Miracles is easier and more loving than anything we think of, so therefore it's hard to hear it. So some of you may go through the temptation of going to sleep or zoning out. Okay, that's okay. That's all right. The book itself says that's what a part of you is going to want to do if you still haven't suffered enough. Because if you're going to get me out of my suffering and I'm not ready to stop suffering, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to not pay attention to anything that would get me out of my suffering. So as soon as somebody starts to give me the answer to my problem, I'm going to tune out because I've already decided how to handle my problem. I'll suffer. Have you ever thought you were going to feel so bad that you feel good? Have you noticed that's the way we do it? I'm going to feel bad, really, 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 really bad, really, really sad, really, really depressed, and I'm going to take it to the deepest levels I can get, and somehow or another that's going to make me feel better. Right? But what are you really doing? I'm calling for love, I'm calling for love, I'm calling for love, I'm calling for help, I'm calling for, don't y'all see I'm calling for love? I'm doing it through depression, I'm doing it through sickness, I'm doing it through lack, I'm doing it through attack, I'm doing it through insecurity, I'm doing it through being a drama king and queen. I'm calling for love, don't you see it? I just robbed a bank, I'm calling for love. I just attacked somebody, I'm calling for love. I just did a road rage incident, I'm calling for love. You know, that's all I'm doing. I'm calling for help. I'm calling for help. And the Spirit is saying, will you just recognize that's what the person is doing? Why is it you can't recognize that's what the person, why don't you want to recognize what your mama is doing as a call for help? Because you want to attack your mama. You want to have grievances against your mama. You want to be mad at your mama. You want to blame your mama for what you're going through. She's your justification for keeping yourself in such pain because you don't love yourself enough to know you need to be out of that pain. And that's your call for love. The way you're treating yourself. That's your call for love. So if you really want to be helped, you need to see what she's doing as the call of help from God, higher power, not you. You can't even help yourself. Nobody's calling for your help. They'll be better off without it. Especially if you're the one that's going to judge what they need. That's what the book says to me. Sometimes I stop right in the middle of the Course in Miracles and give the book a finger. You know what it does? Nothing. It doesn't get offended. It doesn't defend. The words don't change. I don't care how much I don't like them. The words go, oh, you didn't like what happened with that paragraph? Earl, just wait a minute. Boop, 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 boop. Get some brand new. And that's when we approach stuff. Just because I don't like something, I think it's not the truth and it needs to change. Isn't that amazing? That unless I say something is the truth, it's not the truth. I'm the arbiter. So I'll come into the class and I'll listen to this guy. But what's true out of what Earl said today was what I agree with. And what's not true about what Earl said today is what I don't agree with. I am who? I am the arbiter of what is true. Now, I'm miserable, but don't pay attention today. So if you keep reading the Course, it always assumes you don't know what it's talking about. So it'll say it again. It'll go, I want you to do what? I want you to consider how, love's interpretation. Holy Spirit interpretation, if you have a problem with the Christian terminology, it's just love or fear. I'm giving it to you in plain language. So when it says, consider the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the motives of others and how that's going to serve you, it's the same as saying, consider how well your loving right mind's interpretation of other people's motivations are going to serve you. So if I want to start seeing what my daddy did as a call for love, then I'm going to do it if I think of how it would benefit, not my daddy, but how it would benefit me. What? Yeah. I know that you all are learning how not to be so selfish because you've been programmed to be that way. Fearful people are controlling and they're scared. So I know you tend to think about yourself and your own survival, and you tend to put that first. So let's work with that. Instead of trying to change that, why don't we use that to your advantage? Let's use your selfishness and fear to your advantage. Okay. Then I want you to always think about how something's going to benefit you so you'll be more likely to do it. Always think of what I'm telling you in terms of how it's going to benefit you. Notice I didn't say think about how it's going to benefit others. I said think about how it's going to benefit you. So if seeing what you do as a call for love is going to benefit me, now you have my interest. I'm not going to pretend that I don't have a part of me that's very Earl-oriented. Do you have a part of you that's real you-oriented? Good. Don't leave me out here by myself. I know y'all selfish as me. Okay, now, and you're as generous as me, right? So the Course in Miracles says, what I want you to do is this. The loving part of you, your divine part of you, what has it taught you? What is it? It has taught you to accept only loving thoughts in others and to regard everything else as an appeal for help. So what my father did when I was a kid, what that wasn't loving, I'm going to see that as an appeal for help. Because my higher self, the Holy Spirit, has taught you what? Fear itself is an appeal for help. You feeling guilty is an appeal for help. Your being sick is appeal for help. If you think you're experiencing lack, he says, that's an appeal for abundance. So your conflict is an appeal for peace. Sickness is an appeal for health. Lack is an appeal for abundance. So if you broke and so broke you can't pay attention, then you need to say, I have a tremendous call for abundance right now. I'm having a challenge paying my bill because I'm having a really big request for abundance to the universe, to spirit. You know, whenever I pay money for anything, the Course told me to see paying as giving. Because when you see paying as giving, you kick in the law of giving and receiving, and it comes back to you. But things come back to you more than you gave them. That's the nature of the universe. Have you ever noticed that? One peach seed produces a peach tree that over a lifetime produces thousands of peaches from one seed. And on each peach tree, within each peach, is another seed. So it's obvious the universe is about abundance. It's not about us having lack on any level. The laws are the laws of abundance, but he says what we're doing is we're misapplying them. We're giving an abundance of fear, so we see fear. We're given an abundance of we're separate from each other, so we see separation. We're given an abundance of I'm angry, so we see anger everywhere. We're operating the laws of abundance, and we're distorting the application of those laws. Wow. So then we're told, say your higher self has taught you that fear is an appeal for help. That's what recognizing fear means. So when I said to you, let's recognize your fear without disguise, you might have thought I was talking about your fear of rabbits. Right? We immediately go to the form of our fear. Like facing my fear meant, let me face the thing that I'm most afraid of that's happened to me in my physical world. The Course in Miracles says, no. When I say recognizing fear without disguise, I'm saying recognize fear as a call for love. Now you know what fear is. Now you recognize what fear is. What is fear? A call for love, a call for help, a call for healing, a call for love, a call for help, a call for healing, a call for love. Now, if you look at it that way, what did you see on the newscast from the beginning of the newscast to the end? A call for love, a call for help, a call for healing. With all the political insanity and separation that's going on right now. We're going into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of tribes and groups and equality and impartiality and acceptance of uniqueness and personal freedom and individuality. So you see where we headed. You know, that the time of 1% of whatever controlling the rest of it, it simply is not going to work because that doesn't correspond with the new age that we're going into. And it's going to be an age of extraordinary invention, experimentation, and change, especially in technology and electronics and things of that nature. It's going to be a time of tremendous exploration of different ways of expressing ourselves in terms of gender identity. And all these things that we're seeing that's happening right now are not an accident. But they're all what? Big calls for love. No matter how it's expressing itself, it's a call for love. So recognizing fear means I'm recognizing that I'm looking at a great big call for love going on in this world right now. Or you could just bring it down to you and go, I'm seeing a great big call for love in the relationship between me and my partner right now. Especially if you and your partner are expressing anything other than love with each other. You're really saying to each other, I'm calling for your love. And they're saying, I'm calling for your love. I'm calling for your love. No, I'm calling for your love. I'm calling for your love. No, I'm calling for your love. I'm calling for your love. That's all that's really happening. And then where's the challenge coming from in the relationship? Well, you're telling each other the one wrong statement that you can say to each other, which is, if you were different, I'd be happy. That's what the Course says to us. It says, well, actually, to guarantee failure and ever being really, really happy, all you got to do is base your life on if everything outside of you were different, you'd be happy. If someone spoke differently, act differently, if you were in a different situation, if you were in a different circumstance, if your partner just said it this way instead of that way, and if they acted, every time you go, if this were different, I'd be happy, you're setting it up where you're guaranteeing that you'll never know what true happiness and peace is. So when most people are arguing or having upset with each other, the only thing they're saying to each other is, if you were different, I'd be happy. No, if you were different, I'd be happy. No, if you were different. It don't even matter what they're saying. You came home late. I saw you looking at somebody else. That's just the form of the fear. That's just the form. That's just the effect. That's not what's important. What's important is the content. What is the content? You're saying to each other, if you were different, I'd be happy. So you're telling me that who I am is not enough in every word you say. Because you're already telling me I need to be different in order for you to be happy, which is non-acceptance of who I am. You're telling me that I'm not okay the way I am. I need to be different in order for you to be happy. No, thank you. No, thank you. I want the Creator to accept me where I am and help me. Then I need to accept you where you are. And so, therefore, when you and I are having an argument, we're having a big call for love with each other. And so we need to recognize we have some fear going on between each other. And so if we don't protect our fear, if you don't protect your fear, then the love in you, the higher part of you, can reinterpret your fear. Do you know that that's what's happening right now? What's happening in this very class is what it's talking about right now. You're not willing to protect your fear, so you're sitting in a class that you're getting a new interpretation of what your fear is, which is what? A call for love. So you're actually having the experience of higher power giving you a new interpretation that will free you, not only free you, but it would allow you to receive help in the situations that you have fear in. That's the ultimate value in learning, that you need to start seeing attack as a call for love. Attack is a call for love. Anger is a call for love. Attack is a call for love. Attack, that's what it is. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily see it that way. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily feel good about that. Doesn't mean necessarily you're going to want to jump up and down to help that person immediately. It's sort of like me telling you, this top I have on is green. Now, it doesn't matter whether that depresses you or makes you feel good, or you say that's an ugly green, or you say that's a good green, or you go, I don't even know why he bought it. Right? None of that's going to change the fact that it is a what? Green top. And that's what the Course is saying. Y'all can call it they're attacking me, and you can call it jealousy, and you can call it them being selfish, but what it is a call for help. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it means when it says this is reality. I want you to know what reality is. The reality is the only thing you all are seeing is a call for love. I don't care how you feel about it. You may not feel like your daddy deserves to be forgiven. That's up to you. You're going to work that out. You're going to let that go one day. Not because of what it's going to do necessarily for your daddy, but you're going to be selfish enough to know it'll let you off the hook and let your life work better, and you'll have more joy. Because your daddy, especially if he's dead, certainly isn't being affected by your anger. So all the grievances that you're holding, who is it there to be seeing how guilty they are? Because all of your unhappiness is your way of showing the world what everybody's done to you, and you just don't want them to forget it. That's why I'm so angry. That's why I look so sad. I don't want you jokers to forget for 1 minute what you've done to me. Look at what you've done to me. So what's the point of having a lousy, unhappy life if there's nobody around to see it? So I know what I do. I get a relationship, because then I can have somebody we can join in the suffering together. But you're unhappy and I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy too. But we're doing it together. Let's go out tonight so we can be unhappy together. The Course in Miracles says the world is going to end in laughter. You're going to end up laughing at all of this, because it would be ridiculous for you to even know how you could have ever possibly thought that you were not totally loved and totally unlimited and totally spirit and totally connected in a loving way to your source and everything around you. You're going to laugh at your nightmare one day. But until you get to that point, you have a guide to get out of it. And we're being told today how to get out of it. How do you do it? Well, first you face your fears without disguise. Well, how do I do that? Start calling any fear a call for love. That's facing the fear and recognizing it. Then it goes, we've already learned that Fear and attack are inevitably associated. We tend to attack who we're afraid of. And don't we? So attack and fear, anger and fear go together. So there's a relationship between how fearful someone is and how much they attack. So the first thing you want to do if you want to feel safe, wouldn't it make more sense to be as safe as you could possibly be so that people will feel safe around you? Because when people feel safe, they don't attack. And when people feel afraid, they do. So anybody you're angry at all the time and fussing at and criticizing and going off on, that person is becoming more and more afraid of you, and they're entering the attack-prone condition. So I used to think if I let my wife know how upset I was with her about everything she did back in my 20s, that through condemning her and attacking her, she would do what I wanted her to do. Have you ever tried that? Anybody out there ever got angry and upset because they wanted, you came home late, doggone it, and so you're never gonna get another meal behind that. You think anger is gonna make you want to do what I am wanting you to do. So the purpose of anger is to try to control somebody else's behavior through guilt. That's all anger is. Yeah! You ate that sandwich. Yeah! See, anger is my way of trying to subject you to do my will. So what is it for real? A call for love and help. What's the advantage of seeing it that way? Because if I see everything as love or call for love, 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 like we said last week, what is the common denominator? Love. You're a call for love, love. You are so loving, love. So that means all day long, what am I focusing on? Love, 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 love. So the people who act crazy deserve your gratitude as much as the people who act sane. Because the crazy people and the sane people are all making you think about love. Whether you're saying the crazy people are a call for love and the loving people are love. So all day long, what is the primary thought you're hearing? Love, love, help, help, love, love, help, help. What creates your reality? What creates your reality? What you focus on, what you think about. What you focus on creates your experience. What you focus on creates your experience. I'm hearing all day, love, love, help, help, love, love, help, love, help, 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 love, help. So I'm going to do what? Attract, create, and manifest love and help. So what does that mean? It means when I feel afraid, and I'm angry, and I act crazy, and I act jealous, and I act insane, then I'm going to attract love and help. Because that's what I have focused on it being in other people. And what I see in others is what I'm asking for. What I'm giving is what I'm asking for. So instead of people getting upset with me when I act selfish and crazy like the way we do it, the Course says we only want to respond to a call for help if they do it in the form that we approve of. So I'll help you if you say, Earl, would you please help me? Would you help me, Earl? I need help. I think you're a great person. I think you can help me. Then I go, oh, I see that call for help, that call for love. But if she goes, you the stupid, ugly, crazy, I want to smack you upside your head right now. Just want to smack you. Okay, then I don't want to respond to that one, right? I don't want to respond to that call for love. I want to attack them back. Well, what do you mean? Let me get you straight about what you just said. See, my desire to attack was stronger than my desire to recognize that as a call for love. So the spiritual test is, can you get to the point that you see the dastardly behavior as a call for help? But don't forget, that's what it is, whether you believe it or not. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's not like it's not a call for help unless you say so. Okay, so just to be clear about that. God wouldn't be so cruel as to make anybody's salvation dependent on you. Right? And the Course says that, well, y'all don't judge each other fairly. Love sees that y'all don't judge each other fairly. So love will help you regardless of what you've done or think you've done, because your brothers and sisters, they move much too slow. So I want you to be helped now, not when your daughter forgives you. She might not forgive you for 40 years. You don't have to wait for 40 years to be happy until she decides. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out of your dilemma by you seeing things the way that I'm suggesting. You seeing your daughter not forgiving you as her call for love will free you. So if it's the truth, it never asks you to do anything that you can't do right now and that you're willing and able to do right now. And wouldn't you agree that there's nothing that I'm asking you to do that you couldn't do right now? You could call what everybody does for the rest of this day as a call for love, regardless of how you feel about it. You can pull that off, regardless of whether I think that joker deserves it or not. It's a call for God. Even though I'm still mad at my kid, it's a call for God. You could do it. You know you could do stuff you don't believe. We do that all the time. I'll say it again. If you want help, stop refusing it by refusing to see what other people are doing that's unloving as a call for help. If you refuse to do that, you're refusing to have help yourself. You're refusing help. And that's why it looks like you're struggling. And that's why it may look like in some areas you're struggling. That's why it may seem like in some areas you're unhappy. Those are the areas that you're not seeing as a call for help, a call for love. They're not being seen correctly. Wow! Is this practical? Yeah. Then the Course in Miracles says, perceive attack as a what? Call for love. Because we've already learned that fear and attack are associated. I'm going to attack what I'm afraid of. Then the next sentence says, and I love that, if only attack, now follow this reasoning, if attack produces fear, then see attack as the call for help that it is. So attack is what? A call for help. Every time you got angry at someone, it was what? A call for help. He says if you keep doing that, the unreality of your fear is going to dawn on you. You're going to realize fear isn't real. If you keep doing this, you're going to recognize that fear isn't real. You're going to stop being afraid in the world. What? Can you imagine what it would be like to be in this world, walking around anywhere, expressing yourself anywhere, being yourself anywhere, and not feeling afraid, not having any fear about anything? But we were just told how to do that. You do that by beginning to see all of the insanity and attack as a call for help. If you keep doing that, the unreality of fear is going to dawn on you. And here is why. Here is why the fear will be gone. For fear is what? A call for love. So what is a call for love? If you're reading the Course in Miracles and you're reading that sentence, it says, for fear is a call for love. Then it says comma. Then there's a comma. Then it says, in unconscious recognition of what's been denied. So whenever the Course does that, the second half of the sentence defines and explains what the first half of the sentence said. You don't have to analyze the Course because it explains itself as it goes along. So what does that mean, Earl? Make that practical, buddy. All right, here it goes. When you feel fear, what you are feeling is an unconscious recognition of the love that's being denied in that moment. See, when I feel fear, I'm going, okay, love is not in this moment. I feel afraid of you. Love is not in this relationship with you right now. Whenever I feel fear, it's me having an unconscious recognition that love is missing here. Peace is missing here. Connection is missing here. So every time you feel fear, you go, okay, I'm feeling the denial of love right now. Oh my God, I'm feeling the denial of I'm afraid of you. I'm feeling the denial of the truth about you right now. I'm feeling the denial of the love between us right now. We're upset with each other. So one day you'll be so conscious, you'll go, I'm feeling the denial of the love with you right now. Let's sit down and talk about this. See, just think about that. I'm becoming aware of the denial of the love between us. Let's talk about this. You just solved the whole thing just by calling. That's what recognizing fear means. Recognizing fear means you recognize that fear is a call for love, because when you're feeling afraid, it means there is no love in that instant. There is no love in that moment. There's fear in that moment. And that fear is masking and the love. That's me and you denying the love, the unity, and the oneness that we have with each other. And I call it fear, and I call it jealousy, and I call it anger. There's no such thing as me being jealous and loving you at the same time. If I'm feeling jealous, I am afraid. I think love is being denied. Because actually, I think love is you only giving me 100% of your attention all the time anyway. So this is my idea of love being denied. That's why I'm jealous and upset. The idea I have of love, which is you worshiping me to the exclusion of anything and everybody else on the face of the planet Earth, ain't happening. So I'm angry. and I'm afraid. I want you to work hard for my dysfunctional love. That's right. You got to work to get the love that I'm afraid to give because of all my issues. It's so funny. Oh, me. Let me see about this paragraph. Let's see, 146. I can pull it off. Can I go a little bit further?
Oh, yes.
Okay, y'all with me?
Yes.
How y'all enjoying the Earl Purdy torture chamber? The Course in Miracles torture chamber. You love, no! You deserve peace, oh! You're beautiful, oh! You want to scare somebody to death? You know, I've been having the experience of being treated so lovingly that sometimes it's like hard to believe it's real. You know, somebody's treating you better than you think you deserve. You think they're deceiving you in some way, right? You know, somebody's just being really, really kind, and really, really loving, and really, really nice, and they're being their way consistently, and they're being understanding. You'll be a nervous wreck being with them after about a week. You'll be ready to go jump off a building because you'll be so scared. Well, it's the game. Well, I know they must want something. They're giving me more love than I think I deserve. I wouldn't be a member of a club that would have me as a member. So I believe the person who abuses me is giving me a more honest representation of who I am. So I'll stick with them because they're not lying to me like the person that's saying I'm beautiful is. They're lying. But the person that says I'm not enough, that goes along with the way I feel about myself. Let's get married. Then we're guaranteed to be able to reflect to each other what we believe about ourselves on a regular basis. That's called marriage. We are locked into the lesson. And we can't even break the lesson sometimes when we want to. That's why it's harder to get divorced than to get married. Go into the lesson. Go, my child. But when you're ready to leave the lesson, it's hard, isn't it? You made sure it would be hard. Woo! God. So fear is a symptom of your own deep sense of loss. So when I feel afraid, I'm saying, I think I'm going to lose. I think I'm going to lose. If when you perceive the fear in other people, you learn to supply the loss, then you're getting rid of the fear. So that's how you teach yourself that fear doesn't exist in you. How do you teach yourself that fear doesn't exist in you? Why? Because I got the means for removing the fear inside of me by seeing it as a call for love. And I'm going to see it as a call for love, which proves I have the answer inside of me because I'm using it. And I'm only being asked to see it as a call for love. Then how do I know what I should do? I'm glad you asked that. How do I know if I'm the one to help? I can answer that. Would you like to know? If you are the one, you'll feel inspired and it won't feel like a sacrifice. And you'll be able to do it. But if it's something that I say, help me, and you go, oh, hell, you're not the one. You are not the one. Okay, the one that would do it with resentment is not the one. The one that would help me feeling a lot of guilt, that's the person I don't want the help from. When people want to do stuff for me, especially if I'm in a relationship, I always tell them, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for wanting to do this wonderful thing for me. And just do it as long as it's not a sacrifice. At the point it seems like it's a sacrifice in any way for you to do this for me, stop that very moment. If you like to fix me apple pies, and the first apple pie hits, an apple pie, I thought you might like, eat it. Okay, good. You felt good about giving it, I felt good about receiving, but you kept baking apple pies. Now you're feeling resentment because you feel like you're making an apple pie that you don't want to make anymore. And as a matter of fact, you're building resentment against me by saying he hasn't invited me or brought me an apple pie, even though I didn't ask for the first apple pie you gave me. But now all of a sudden, whether or not I give one back is the way you can tell whether I care about you. So at the point the person is giving me an apple pie with resentment, it's the point that that person is giving me apple pie in a way that's not benefiting either one of us. So what has happened with apple pie? It has become a big call for love. So don't forget, no matter what the upset is, the answer is the same. So the Course in Miracles says the means for removing the fear is in yourself. You've demonstrated it by giving it. So here are what are the only two emotions you are capable of? What are the only two feelings anybody you know are capable of? That's love and fear. Those are the only emotions anybody feels. Everything else is nothing but a division or a derivative of that. Happiness is love. Abundance is love. Health is love. Peace is love. Whenever you say those things, you're talking about some form of love. Fear is anger. Fear is attack. Fear is sickness. So there's only two things you're feeling all the time: fear or love. One is false. Fear is false. Why? Because fear is made out of the denial of love. So anybody that's afraid that somebody's denying themselves love. So fear is the denial of love. And so denial depends on the belief in the thing that you're denying. So if I say love is being denied, there has to be love to be denied. So denial is actually the witness to the thing that you're denying. So how do you interpret fear correctly? How do I interpret my upset and my anger correctly? He says, by seeing it as a positive affirmation. What? You want me to see fear as an affirmation? A positive affirmation? Is it possible for me to see guilt and jealousy as a positive affirmation? Yes, because I see it as an affirmation of the underlying belief that it's matched. In other words, when I say to myself that I feel angry, that means I'm denying the peace that's available to me. So it's really positive. I'm undermining the usefulness of jealousy if I render jealousy useless. So if the purpose of jealousy is for me to deny love, and then I remember that jealousy is a call for love, so jealousy is now reminding me of the thing that jealousy was supposed to make me forget. Jealousy was supposed to make me forget love is real, peace is real, safety is real. Now I know my jealousy is a call for that real love. I know that jealousy is a call for real peace. So jealousy was supposed to make me forget about love. It was supposed to be the denial of love. But now it's making me remember love. So now jealousy doesn't have any usefulness because it was supposed to make me forget love, forget God, forget safety, forget the truth. Now when I am feeling jealousy, I say, oh, I'm feeling the call for love. I'm feeling the call for God. So now my jealousy is perceived as useless because it's not keeping me in fear like it used to. And what happens to defenses that don't work? You discard them. If fear was supposed to hide love from me, and now I'm using fear to remind me of love, then fear now is useless because it was to make me forget that I am valuable, that I am loved. So when the mind sees that fear no longer is keeping you unaware of love, your mind will just drop your fear and guilt and insecurity because it's not doing its job anymore, which is to make you forget about the truth. And that's how you get rid of your fear, your jealousy, and your anger. So don't say you don't know how to get rid of your upset, fear, insecurity. I gave it to you today. You heard it from the Course in Miracles, and there's not a thing I said that you can't do today. Because it's a way of seeing things that the Course gave us. It told us another way to interpret our experience. So then we're at the last sentence. And then it says, if you raise what fear conceals, what is it that fear is concealing? Call for love. Love. So if you raise what fear conceals, which is love, and you raise that to clear-cut, unequivocal what? Predominance. You make the love. Fear. I'm feeling afraid. I'm feeling my call for love. I'm feeling afraid about this bill. I'm feeling my call for love. If I bring that to predominance, fear becomes meaningless. If you bring the thing that fear is trying to hide uppermost in your mind, the fear and the lack becomes meaningless because you denied its power to conceal love. See, if I recognize that fear is a call for love, is a call for God, is a call for help, is a call for healing, then I have denied my fear and jealousies and insecurities power to hide the love from me. And that was the only purpose of fear to begin with, was to keep us unaware of love, was to keep us unaware of love. Fear is there to make you think love isn't available to you. Fear is there to make you think that you could lose. But once you use fear to remind you of what fear is hiding, fear becomes meaningless and your mind automatically drops your fear. That's the veil. Fear is the veil that you've drawn across love's face. And so if you remember every time you feel jealousy, insecure, or angry, or sick, that you're having an unconscious, I'm sick. Oh, I'm having an unconscious recognition that health is being denied by me right now. What's wrong with you, Earl? Oh no. Well, my denying that health is available to me is taking the form of flu. That's what conscious being would talk. Me trying to fool myself about me being valuable has taken the form of this person I'm dating. Or I'm having a date or an expression that is an exchange of love and joy. And that's witnessing that I'm loving. Those are the only two things that I'm having. Whew. All right, we'll do a quick recap in a minute. Another light Earl Purdy talk. That's why I always tell people, at least 4 times. I'm the divine repetition teacher. It's through repetition that you change your mind. You learn new thoughts through it being repeated. People don't realize they're believing the things that have been repeated to them over and over and over and over and over again. And they're saying that's what the truth is, but really it's just what they've heard over and over and over and over and over again. So the same thing is true if you want a new way of looking at things. You have to give yourself the new way of thinking over and over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. That's why I call myself the divine repetition teacher. And the remembering coach. It's not important that you understand the way out of the room when it's on fire. You know, you just need to be willing to be shown how to get out the house that's on fire. If you're in a house that's on fire and the fireman comes to rescue you, you don't say, I won't leave this burning building until you tell me how the fire got started. But that's the approach I see with students when it comes to the truth. They sit up and they go, well, then how did that all happen? And where did that come from? And why did you see it that way? And it's like, that's like you being in the house that's on fire and you're waiting to be explained to before you leave. It says, see everything that you're looking at in the world that's not loving, just say it's a call for love, whether you believe it or not, or whether you want to answer it or not. Can you say something that you don't necessarily believe? Yes, we can. We know we can, right? Don't forget, if you're not on the list, please sign up for it and print, please, so I can let you know when I'm in town and out of town. Mighty companion, if you like to go within yourself, if Spirit leads you to make a donation, I would really appreciate it. I'm a full-time teacher of the course. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, I would really appreciate that. Just go to my website, earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y, earlpurdy.com. And I try to make it easy, so you can also use Zelle or Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. All you need is my email address, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I'm also available for one-on-one Course in Miracles counseling and mentoring. Those of you who are ready to see how I can show you after 40 years of working with people how to apply the principles of the Course to the situation that you're going through right now that you need another way of looking at that might be causing you pain, then I can show you, I don't care what you think it is, I can tell you how you should handle it from a Course in Miracles perspective. There's nothing you can bring up that I wouldn't be able to tell you what the answer would be from a Course in Miracles perspective and how to apply it. Okay? So if you're ready to really have a unique, original approach to getting out of situations that you see you've been having, it's been your pattern forever, and you really have reached your limit, then have a clarity session with me. Go to my website. It will explain it in detail, and you can self-book an appointment with me right online from right there. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook, Earl Purdy page on Facebook. I do Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles is for people who are studying a Course in Miracles. Okay? Hardcore Course in Miracles, anybody's welcome to watch it, but it's really about people who are studying the Course and want to get a deeper understanding and take advantage of my 4 decades of obsession. I can save you some time, I promise you. So that's Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And also on Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, we have this presentation of Facebook Live, A Course in Miracles. And you can come down and you can visit live at 1555 Race Street, R-A-C-E, Race Street, here in Denver, Colorado. If you're in this area, you can come in and check it out. All right, tons of classes, tons of videos on YouTube, including the entire workbook, and tons of classes on Facebook and also on my website, audio and video, that you can watch totally for free. I'm here to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent love, truth that sent me. I don't have to worry about what to say. I don't have to worry about what to do, because the spirit that sent me, that spirit's going to direct me. And I'm going to be healed as I let spirit teach me to heal. So I get healed, the more I let my body be used to remind you of the truth, because I heard everything I said today. It came through me. So every class, I'm closer to awakening, because every class, I'm accepting it more and more. Woo! So thank you. Thank you. Okay, here's a quick recap. You ready? Close your eyes. Why don't you just take it in for a minute? The more you see everything is love or a call for love, the more you're going to realize the things that you might do that may not be completely loving. It's a call for love, a call for help. Maybe you've been angry lately. Maybe you've been not as loving as you meant to be. Maybe you have not been as loving as you want to be. Maybe you feel like you wronged somebody or hurt somebody in some way. Well, understand that spirit sees that as your call for love, your call for help, your call for God. To recognize your fears, that's not enough to escape from your fears. It just demonstrates you need to let your fears go. So recognize that you're going to be helped right now. You're going to be helped right now. You're recognizing fear, and you're facing fear, and you're recognizing fear, and you're facing fear. So what does recognizing your fear mean? Recognizing your fear means that you recognize that fear is a call for love. It means you recognize that fear is a call for love. When you recognize that fear is a call for love, that's what recognizing fear really means. So accept that only the loving thoughts from other people, that's the only thing that's true. Everything else is a call for help. Perceive anger and attack as a call for help. Doesn't mean you have to necessarily feel like it's a call for help. It doesn't mean you have to necessarily be the one to answer that call for help. Just recognize that it's a call for help so that you can be helped. And so whenever you're feeling fear, whenever you're feeling upset, whenever you're feeling sad, or whenever you're feeling depressed, know that you're having an unconscious recognition of the love that's being denied, the peace that's being denied. Remember that fear and love are the only emotions of which you are capable. You're either feeling love or a call for love. You're either feeling love or a call for love. Right now, you're either feeling love right now. Do you know you're either feeling love right now or you're feeling a call for love right now? You're either feeling love right now or you're feeling a call for love right now. Do you know your call for love may take the form of depression? Your call for love may take the form of sickness. Your call for love may take the form of anger. Your call for love may take the form of insecurity. Your call for love may take the form of addiction. Your call for love may take the form of violence. But those are the only two emotions you're having. So if you will see your fear correctly, see your fear as a positive affirmation. You might be a person that has a ton of positive affirmations all day. Your positive affirmation may take the form of anger, guilt, grievances, attack. They may be a form of your affirmation. And what is your affirmation? You're feeling something that's the denial of the love that you know you deserve to be having right now. You know you're not receiving the kind of love that you know you deserve right now. That's why you feel afraid. That's why you feel jealous. That's why you feel anger. That's why you feel upset, because you know you deserve more love, and that there's more love available to you than you're giving yourself and allowing yourself to have right now. You're happy. You're unhappy because you know you deserve more love than you're giving yourself and you're letting yourself have right now. You're feeling sick because you're angry about not receiving the love that you know you deserve to have right now. It's love or a call for love. That's all you're feeling is love and a call for love. That's all happening is love or a call for love. That's all you're seeing is love or a call for love. That's all you're seeing. That's all you're experiencing. It's love or a call for love. We're looking at a deep, deep call for love all over the world. So many of our friends, so many of our relatives. We're seeing so many calls for help right now. So many calls for God right now. We're seeing a call for love right now. Will you see it as a call for love? Will you look at it as a call for love? Will you look at it as a call for love? Think about a friend or relative right now. Someone that you know who's suffering or going through what they perceive to be a struggle, a hard time right now. Bless yourself by blessing them and saying you're looking at a call for love, that they just have a big call for love, and that their fear is an unconscious recognition of the love that's being denied. So don't you refuse help. Mighty companions, thank you for checking this out and remembering with me today. So we want to complete with just one statement. Those who could say it aloud, just one statement after me. I am a call for love. I am a call for love. Ooh. I am a call for love. I'm going to say it again. I am a call for love. What are you? I am a call for love. What are we? We are calls for love. What? We are calls for love. That's what we are. Cute and juicy. Calls for love. Thank you, mighty companions. Would you give it to yourself? Come on, give it to you. You want the world to give it to you? You got to give it to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. 4 times. 4 times.